Good morning, traders. Russell Sandiford here for your Easy Markets morning market update. The commodities, currencies, and the commodities themselves last night certainly proved to be the big movers. Firstly, I've got up on screen here the 4 hour for copper. We recently saw a run up to that 317 or 317 and a half. That absolutely fell away last week, and a reset was done there to about 306. But the biggest mover, one of the biggest movers in yesterday's markets was copper just yesterday, collapsing totally from around 308, 309, back under 3. So really big moves there for commodities. Gold was not too dissimilar here, back to around 1260, just over 1260 flat before recovering mildly. So some big pre-moves for the end of the year there for the dollar strong moves, I think, coming out of the woodwork, seeing gold collapse there from basically 1275, trading very quietly. It was for the most part yesterday. And then, like I said, just out of nowhere collapsed in a pretty big way there. Now it's settled down at 1266 or 1265 and a half. Where to from here, of course, looking ahead to tonight's interim non-farm payroll data out of the US. That's always quite pivotal for the direction and the tone that we expect out of the headline numbers at the end of this week. So just keep your eye on those. Oil, if we can finish off commodities. Oil was pretty mild. It did get a bit of an uptick, getting back to just that 57.5 level. Not really worth getting too excited about. It's kind of holding that range that I've been saying on the easymarkets.com.au website between 57 and 58.50. Trying to break up higher through 60 has been tough for oil. So let's lead into another currency pair I was very interested about chatting with a lot of my VIP clients yesterday was dollar CAD. I thought when it bottomed out yesterday evening around 9:30 Sydney time in the evening at 26.60 was a good buying opportunity. Now dollar CAD did get off the canvas and it did rally back up to 127, which was nice. And it's just sort of 10 pips below that level at the moment. But I think there's a lot more upside to come there. We did see the Canadian data come out, but it was a bit of a mixed bag because we also had US data overnight as well. So for mine, this pair is overdone. It's oversold, coming off that high, recent high anyway, of 129 and pummeled down to 126.60 lows yesterday. I think this pair can get back and find its feet back at 27.50, 28 to finish off this week. So take a look at dollar CAD long if you're interested to buy that dip. Now some of the other movers, euro was quiet. It did slide a little. Dollar yen, of course, went the other way, so it was quiet, but then came back a little, making its way to 112.85 before settling down. So honestly, though, it's 10-15 pips away from when we were doing this yesterday. So the range is pretty meek and meager in compared to the normal daily range you'd expect out of dollar yen. The market is expecting a lot from the Brexit story, so don't be too surprised if you see these blips lower. Again, we saw some wobbly price action out of the sterling against the greenback yesterday. That is going to be the state of play until we get this last clear direction out of the next Brexit meeting between the EU and Theresa May. Remember, the guys were very clear from both sides on Monday. They were very clear that they're looking for a positive resolution and likely to announce something this week. So don't get sucked into these little moves lower. I think you'll find that's another good opportunity to get back in long to the sterling against the greenback or even some of the sterling crosses. Now today on the calendar, we've really just got the Aussie GDP coming out in couple of hours at 11:30 as always for Australia. Now yesterday's RBA holding rates, some slight hawkish commentary in their rhetoric followed that RBA hold of interest rates, so we did see a move up to 76.5. Just a nasty move in my opinion to take out stops at 76.5 before getting straight back to where we started, which is just a snippet above the 76 handle. So for mine, I'm still selling Aussie from this level and looking for that to get lower. Dairy numbers overnight were interesting for the Kiwi, but not a great daily range on the Kiwi. So for mine today, let's look at the Aussie or even the Aussie yen. as the most interesting trades on the table. And watching with interest, of course, just before we go, is Bitcoin. It's really, really looking bullish, but it has definitely slowed down. Now, this price action leading into 12,000, being that it hit something in the region of 11,850 or 11,900 on some platforms last night. This is the same sort of tentative price action we saw from Bitcoin leading up to 10,000. And we all know what happened when it finally busted its head through that that milestone. So for mine, I do expect it to take out 12,000 at some point this week and make a run up to 13,000. But from there, I can see some sharp selling coming in, and definitely a lot of short sellers playing the game next week when the futures markets roll out on Monday for the CBOE, and then the following Monday is the CME. So if you guys need to understand more about Bitcoin and where we think it's headed in the short term or mid term, by all means come through to us here at the Easy Markets dealing desk. Or if you need a hand with any other pairs, just come through and have a chat. Otherwise, have a great trading day.